Project Mercury, the first American human spaceflight program. Hello curious people. In a time when staying home is the new normal, today we present you a story about the first spaceflight program. The impressive Project Mercury. Project Mercury was the first American human spaceflight program from 1958 to 1963. An early highlight of the space race, Project Mercury started out with three specific objectives. First, NASA wanted to put a human in orbit around Earth. The second, they wanted to see how the human body responded to being in space, since no American had ever left Earth before, and the third objective was to bring the astronaut and ship back to Earth safely. The first launch of Project Mercury was on 21 August 1959, and it did not go well. Little Joe 1 suffered an explosion because of a pair of electrical circuits got crossed. The next launch, Big Joe 1, successfully tested the heat shields, though there were still problems with the actual launching part of things. It's hard to send something into space, and NASA learned that over and over again. There were also 6 manned missions in Project Mercury. First came Mercury-Redstone 3 in May 1961, which made Alan Shepard the first American to ever reach space. He was also the first person to ever go to space and then land back on Earth inside the capsule, since the 2 Soviet cosmonauts who had gone up earlier in 1961 both ejected from their ships and parachuted down to the ground. The second mission was Mercury-Redstone 4, with VIRGIL GRISSOM on board, was pretty much a carbon copy of Shepard's flight 2 months earlier. The third mission was Mercury-Atlas 6, in February 1962. It brought John Glenn into orbit, making him the first American and the third person in human history to ever orbit the Earth. And the fourth mission was Mercury-Atlas 7, with Scott Carpenter on board, was pretty much a carbon copy of Glenn's orbit. After Grissom became the second American in space, his capsule landed in the Atlantic Ocean and pretty much sunk like a rock because the hatch blew open, but he got out safely. The capsule was recovered from the bottom of the ocean in 1999. Project Mercury could have stopped after Carpenter's orbits, but it had 2 more missions: Mercury-Atlas 8 and Mercury-Atlas 9. The difference was orbiting time, with Mercury-Atlas 9 orbiting Earth for almost 34 hours. The researchers were especially interested in seeing if anything happened to the bodies or brains of the astronauts during longer missions. However, what they found was encouraging. If you stay in space for a few days, it doesn't seem to affect your health too much, and Gordon Cooper was just okay after a day and a half in space. The Mercury project was important because NASA was able to plan a series of missions that were based on previous experience, managed to train astronauts for future missions, and in fact created the basis for today's space missions. In the end, I would like to thank you for watching us, and I would like to invite you to subscribe and like our channel.